Hey everybody, it's me, Pam, Dragon Moon Creation. Welcome back to my channel. And remember when everybody getting these. I know I first saw somebody, Kimbo Creation, had the said to get these at the Dollar Tree. And I'd gotten 4 of these green ones and 1 purple one. And I have used the green ones. I had to find the right paper. And the paper that I found to use with those was called, hang on a second, let me get out here. Peppermint Twist. Very, very old paper pad. It is 2012, so that makes it 14 years old. So I did what I sometimes do with these paper pads. I go in and I cut apart all the cut aparts. And I use some of the sparkly papers here to all the papers that I used. I hadn't really used out of this paper pad, maybe a little bit. I said, well, I don't really like the colors, and it is retro, but it's a little too cutesy for me. But yeah, I have used a little bit. You can tell whenever you tear pages out. Anyway, so I had that, and I had these. And I made 2. I altered 2 of these. Now, I've seen people do it, and they put ribbons and stuff up here. And I said, if you put ribbons up here, how do you do this? You know, if there's ribbons up there, how do you know. I didn't put ribbons on mine. But, let me put this over here, out of the way. But I made them identical. All right, I made them identical. Like this. And I think it came out kind of cute. Booger. It's a real booger covering the tab pieces. I've seen it done both ways. Cover the tabs or don't cover the tabs, and I wanted to cover the tabs. But anyway, I think the paper goes ahead and matches the green, since there's so much of it that gets covered up. I think it matches okay. And I had these little star things right here. They came in different sizes. Those were from Hobby Lobby. It's a little late in the evening here. I'm kind of tired, but I needed to make this this video. These came from Hobby Lobby, and these came from, I'm not sure where these came from. And I forget, I put them away. They might be Hobby Lobby too, for all I know. But the paper was definitely, it was an old Recollections pad. So I covered both the outside and the inside covers. Oh, and this is just some greenery that I had cut out, and I went looking and I found a little pencil box that said die cuts, and there was some greenery in here, and I used a little bit on here, and I cut it, and I used a little bit on the other one, but then I used that. And I didn't do anything these pages. I know people have been covering them, the whole page, and with paper, and I said, well, why are you covering the whole page with decorative paper? Each and every one of them would have like covered with paper. I mean, it's a great way to use paper, but then what are you going to do with it after? Is it supposed to be a photo album? I thought this would make cute. These are, to me, these scream recipe books, you know, to write down your recipes or your Christmas card lists or something like that. And so there's that. And then there was this one. Like I said, real booger trying to cut those out. What I did was I laid the paper down and traced around and just traced around it and then cut it out freehand. And some of them turned out okay, and some of them got hacked to pieces, and I didn't really care. And then there's that little bit of them. I think there's 60 in each one. So there's 20 in each, no, 15. There's 15 in each. There's 15, this is 15. This flips up, and this is 15 of them. Oh, sorry, I'm just like not even in frame. But the present, but it's definitely oriented to this way. That's how I oriented the paper. And then that's 15, and there's the old Christmas ornaments. And then I reused that paper from there because I liked it. And there's 15. And then this was actually part of the Christmas paper. And then on the back I used the bulbs again, but I used it this way. Because like this. That, and then back like that. And I did make 2 of them. Okay. So that was using that paper pad and using the little spiral notebooks. They don't even call them that. Index cards. They don't even say that they're spiral. I do have 2 more of these, and I will come back and make a couple more of these. Probably with the same papers, because there's plenty left over. All right, so I'll do that. Oh, and I wanted to show you that I did find at Walmart this one. It just doesn't have the tabs on it, and it's not as sturdy. But you could, and it has the silver. It's very utilitarian. But you could, go ahead and front and back cover this. You could make your own dividers by using one of the pages. You can make your own dividers, front and back, and divide it the same way because it's got the same amount of pages in it. Oh no, this one's only got 50. This one had 60. So you'd have to do a recount, like you get 12 or something in each one. And then it has the paper back, and you could. This one does say index card spiral, but these are like $1.54 or something like that at Walmart. So if you can't find these and you really want to give it a try, that's an alternative. Okay. Made those. And then I made cards. The first set of cards I did was, they were like this. I left one out. There's the envelope. They're very dimensional. They're like this, so they'll stand up. It's like a stand-up card. And that part will not stay down. Anyway, I stamped with, the 2 stamps I used were the Merry Christmas out of this one, and this is Miss Sparkle and Company. That's Joanne. And I used the Warm Holiday Wishes. And these, Christmas is on its way, Warm Holiday Wishes, Merry Christmas out of that one, and the Merry Christmas and the Very Merry out of this one are my favorite Christmas stamps. But anyway, it's like this. It's the way you fold it. And this was hang on, I've got it here. This was a sheetload of cards, October 2025. And I will tell you, if you follow the measurements for this, I'm sorry, I did it, but you will not get it in a standard A2 envelope. It would be too wide. I had to go back, and this one's almost, unless, see, okay, you got to squish it down really hard. But had I left it like this, had I left it and not cut some off of it, it would have been right to the edge of this envelope. And you can't, right to the edge, and, depending on if you misfold it by a micron, it's going to, be more than that. So I had to cut some off, and this, when I folded, I did not change this fold at all, and it is 2.5, and they recommended just 2 inches for this piece of paper that goes across here. I cut it at 2.25, and that gave me 1/8 of an inch on each side. But they say cut it at 2. That would have given you a whole 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and that's way too much. It was way too much. So I adjusted, and I adjusted these pieces that I glued here. I had to adjust because I shortened so I went from 1 3/4 to like 1.5 because I cut so much off. But I will tell you that. And then you're supposed to put the card on the back for, the message. And I didn't watch the video. You go to Call Me Crafty House channel, and they always do these. I did not, and that's where I stamped my stamp. But I thought, well, I'll just leave it open so it'll stand up, you know. There's trips coming. So, but anyway, I made these, and that was my sample. And Trip, you're gonna dump it, and I'm gonna be mad at you. So that was that one, and there was the 3 of that one. And then when you do the reverse, oh no, I did leave it out. I did leave this one out. There you go. Yeah, I did leave one out. How about that? So, all right, I did those. Chip, you got moved, buddy. All right, did those, and then I moved on to. Now I'm still working with that same paper pad, that same peppermint twist, and I'm moved on to this color combination of this. So I had 4 of each one. This color combination. Very simple, nothing inside. You just, you make this, you glue this, and then you cut it in half. And Trip, you got to get down, buddy. And made this one. I inked around it in antique linen. You wouldn't think those 2 colors would go together, but inside this peppermint paper, there's that blue. I put him down again. And this was in the paper. These are very retro, very vintage. Okay, so I did that. And then the reverse was really strange because it's mostly blue. But you know what? It works. It really does. I didn't think it would work, but it did. And the backing paper I have here, that is it was in a paper pack from Michael's. But I think they turned out okay. So I made the cards, and I made what I'm calling recipe books. So that's what I've started, and that was part of my Christmas in July. I know July's almost over, but there were a couple other things that I wanted to do, and I'll show you what I did in another video. I did go to my local Dollar Tree that doesn't really have anything, and I got these 2 decorative mesh things. But what I don't need them to with the ribbon. I just like the mesh part in between. Okay. All right. And there was something else that I got from them, but I don't remember what it was, so it's not important. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about my cards. Like I said, the paper is very, very retro. And I will talk to you later. Bye.